Imagine you walk into a coffee shop and ask the self-service kiosk, "Do you have gluten-free options? How much is the latte?" Maybe you want to know what's in a meal or ask about the return policy. As a customer, you expect instant and accurate answers. But building a kiosk like this is more challenging than it looks. A customer-facing kiosk can't afford to make things up. If it gives wrong information about prices, allergies, promotions, or store policies, you'll lose trust fast. At the same time, if you rely on cloud services for every question, you add latency, increase operating costs, and your kiosk might stop working if the internet goes down. The ideal solution is an AI assistant that runs locally, responds quickly, and only answers when it's sure about the information. But getting this to work on a resource-constrained edge device is not easy. You need a full AI pipeline, speech to text, an embedding model, semantic retrieval, a large language model, and text-to-speech, all sharing the same memory and compute resources. One of the biggest challenges is retrieval. Traditional vector stores often use a lot of RAM for floating point embeddings and indexing, leaving less memory for your language model and other AI services. That's where Moorcheh Edge comes in. It uses a compact retrieval approach based on Maximum Information Binarization, or MIB. With our efficient distance metric, EDM, Moorcheh has cut down the memory needed for the semantic layer so much that smaller memory footprints leave enough room to run an embedding model, speech services, and a local language model together on the Arduino UNO Q. Reliability is just as important. Smaller language models are efficient, but sometimes they make up answers when they don't have enough information. To fix this, Moorcheh has a built-in kiosk mode. It acts as a guardrail before sending retrieved information to the main language model. Kiosk mode checks if the information or result meets the configurable relevance threshold. If it finds relevant information, the language model generates a grounded response. If not, you'll just get a reply saying, "I don't have enough information to answer that question." Most of the time, it doesn't even need to call the language model, which helps cut down on hallucinations and saves compute resources at the same time. To show you how this works, you have the Brew Corner, an AI-powered retail voice kiosk mode that runs entirely on Arduino UNO Q. It runs speech-to-text, text-to-speech, LLM embedding model, and the kiosk UI all on the compact 4 GB RAM from the Arduino UNO Q. Let's talk about the architecture behind the scenes here. Take a quick look at how it works. For this demo, you're using a single display PC to host both the customer interface and the admin dashboard. In real deployments, the customer interface connects to a dedicated display kiosk, while the admin interface lets you update menu items, pricing, promotions, or other business info. When you make updates, they sync to the Arduino UNO Q through the Moorcheh Edge, and everything gets embedded inside the UNO Q. You just need to send the text you want to update along with the text's ID. Once the knowledge base is loaded, the kiosk works completely offline. No cloud service or constant internet needed to answer customer questions or queries. When a customer speaks, the voice service turns speech into text. Moorcheh then does a semantic retrieval over the knowledge base and sends only the most relevant info to the large local language model running on Ollama. The generated response gets converted back into speech using text-to-speech and plays through the speaker. This setup combines efficient retrieval, a local interface, and built-in guardrails to deliver fast, private, and trustworthy AI responses directly on edge devices. Let's get the hardware set up. First, to take a look at the components. Then you'll see how to wire everything up. Here, you've got an Arduino UNO with 4 GB RAM. This will run the main RAG plus the STT and TTS models. Next, there's a USB-C power adapter. The USB-C cable sends power to the Arduino, and it also connects to the mic and speaker. Here's the mic. It uses a 3.5mm AUX jack. You'll also need another AUX cable to connect the mic to the speaker. To do this, grab a sound stereo adapter. Plug it into the USB-C adapter using the USB-A pin. For the speaker, you have a few options if you just want to test things out. If you've got a regular magnetic speaker, use a female adapter, and connect it to the USB-C stereo adapter with an AUX cable. You can also use an amplifier with an 8-ohm, 1-watt speaker. For this demo, you'll use a Bluetooth speaker, but connect it with an AUX cable. If you want, you can use Bluetooth instead. Now power up the USB-C bus. Make sure you plug into the right port for power. After that, the main cable goes to the Arduino, which controls the whole setup. Next, plug the USB-A pin into the bus. There are two pins, one for the mic, that's the red one, and one for the speaker. Take the AUX cable and plug it into the speaker. Just connect it to the speaker's AUX port, and you're done. Turn on the speaker, and your hardware is ready to go. Let's set up the software. Here, you'll walk through the README file in the public setup doc. Just follow along to get the Arduino UNO Q and the display working. For now, your PC will act as the display. In real use, you'll use a different display, but everything important runs on the Arduino. Let's open the README and jump to Quick Start. First, here's a quick look at the architecture and how the display flow works. Since you're using your PC, you'll make requests from the PC by creating a proxy. You'll ask questions on your PC display. That goes to the retail kiosk, saves the prompt and chat history to SQLite on your laptop, then sends a prompt to the Arduino UNO Q. The Arduino embeds the query, searches with the vector database, runs the LLM, and gets the answer. That answer turns into speech using TTS model. When you speak back, the STT model converts your speech to text. You'll use the mic, speaker, and Ollama inside the UNO Q. To set up for the first time, you need to load the store data. Load it over Wi-Fi. After that, you can just run everything using the USB-C charger. Let's get started with Quick Start. Here's what you need. Download Moorcheh Instant and go to the UNO Q. Do these steps one at a time. Open your terminal and connect to the UNO Q. Here's how. First, find the UNO Q's IP address and set up SSH connection. To get the IP, go through the onboarding process. You need to go to the onboarding screen for the UNO Q Arduino Lab app. It'll show you how to connect to Wi-Fi or use offline mode. If you're offline, you can connect the UNO Q directly to your machine. Here, it's already connected over Wi-Fi. Now find the Arduino UNO Q and connect. Once you finish onboarding, you'll see the IP address and which board is on Wi-Fi. Next, open your terminal. You can use SSH or click Connect to Shell to open the board's terminal. Enter your password. Hit Enter. Now you're logged into the Arduino UNO Q and connected. Next, check the README for the next step. Update apt-get, then install Python, curl, and ZHD with sudo. Run the command. It'll ask for your password again, so keep it handy. You'll need it a few times, especially when onboarding the Arduino UNO Q. Now, set up the Python 3 environment for Moorcheh. Run the command. When that's done, go to the source and activate the new environment. Hit Enter. Now, you're in the Moorcheh environment. Clear the window. Next, install the Moorcheh Edge library. Run the command. It'll download everything you need for Moorcheh on Edge. That's done. Now check the Docker version. UNO Q usually has Docker by default, so just check to make sure it's installed. If not, follow the extra instructions in the docs. Now, you need to do two things on the Arduino UNO Q to run the retail setup. Open Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. Open both, then run each terminal one at a time. Open the second terminal, use SSH, and enter the IP for the UNO-Q on Wi-Fi. Enter your password again. Hit Enter. You're logged into the UNO-Q. Now you have two terminals open, you're ready to run both. The instructions say to run Moorcheh with LLM and warm up the LLM. This means you'll start the retail kiosk and the whole RAG with STT and TTS. You need to warm up the LLM by loading it into RAM so it's fast for the first query. That way you get an instant answer. You're loading it into RAM because Moorcheh is small. The whole Docker image with 10,000 vectors is just 20 megabytes, so there's plenty of space. Once that's done, run Moorcheh Edge status. Now check the output. It shows dimension is null. Embedding model is null too. That's because you haven't picked store mode or dimension yet. No problem. Move to Terminal 2. After the first successful start, do the voice setup, then check cache loading, turn on your speaker. It's on. Now run the Moorcheh voice setup. This will download everything needed for voice. You'll use the AUX cable here. If you want Bluetooth, follow the instructions in the docs, but for now, use the AUX cable to hook up the speaker. That's done. Voice is set up. Now, on the other terminal, activate the virtual environment and start the voice server. Copy the command and run it on the other terminal. Activate the command. This starts the voice server. It runs a proxy on port 8766 and connects to the front end on 8765. Now move on to setting up the software for your PC. Let's get the software ready on your PC for the display. You need to clone the retail kiosk repo. Open your terminal and go to the folder where you want to clone it. Once that's done, move into the repo folder. Now you're in. Next, follow the instructions. You need to install dependencies using pip, then go to the front-end folder and run npm install. Copy the command and let it run. While that's installing, open the folder in your code editor, VS Codeworks, or anything you like. Open the folder and run everything from there. This project uses a monorepo, but you won't need all of it. Head to the front end and run npm install again. On Windows, use a semicolon to separate commands. For Linux, use double ampersands. Now you're in the front-end folder. Next, set up the proxy. You already have the UNO Q IP, so set that up and run the retail kiosk from the root repo. Then start the UI and use the flow you set up with UNO Q. Open the folder, go to the terminal, and run as admin. Set the environment variable and enter the IP. Wait for the proxy to connect. Once that's done, run the retail kiosk API. This starts the backend server. Now run the front end and set up the proxy. The front end will run on port 8765. Go to the front end, set the environment variable, then run npm run dev. That's it. Clear the chat to avoid hitting any cache. Now you're ready to start a phrase call with the LLM before the demo. Check the voice first, then upload your data and start the chat demo. Stop the server and run the voice check. Welcome to the Brew Corner. Great, the voice is connected and working. You can start the voice now or do it later. Let's load the data first. Open the next step. You're on step 5. You need to verify two things. First, use curl to check the health of the Arduino UNO Q. Run this on the UNO Q. Then check port 8766. Open curl looks good. Now check 8766. Is that the right port? Let's check again. Oh, here's the problem. The voice server is stopped. Start it so it can detect the health. Now it says the server is okay and voice is up. Next, check the curl command on your PC. This checks the server health. I'm using git bash, but you can use any terminal. It says everything's working. You see the IP address, kiosk, and the info you need. Close that window. Next, load data into the UNO Q and embed it for the demo. Run the SCP test from the root and update the IP, hit enter. Grab the password and enter it. The brew corner, JSON is now loaded onto the Arduino UNO Q. Do the same for the script, just change the IP. Enter your UNO Q password. Done. You've loaded the script and JSON file to the UNO Q. Clear the terminal. Now let's run the next step. Copy the Python command and load the data. The environment is already active, so it'll prepare all 27 docs into JSON. It'll embed them one by one using the embedding model on the UNO Q, creating the vectors for each chunk. It's going fast. Good sign. There's enough memory to run the LLM on top. The embedding model runs in RAM each time the server is running, so you don't need to restart it every time. That's helpful. Clear the terminal. Data is loaded. Now time to test the prompt. Let's dive into the demo and see if it works.
Is there any offer going on for spring 2026?
Hello, welcome to the Brew Corner. Thank you for using our kiosk. While I search our catalog for your answer, here is a special running in the store. When you buy any 12-ounce hot drink, you can add a butter croissant for $2. You can also ask our staff at the counter about rewards, seasonal drinks, and bakery items. One moment while I find the best answer for you. Yes, there is an offer for spring 2026 at the Brew Corner. Maple Oat Latte 12 Oz hot or 16 Oz iced $5.50. Features local maple syrup. Strawberry rhubarb muffin $4.25. Available Fridays through Sundays. Buy any 12 Oz hot drink and get a butter croissant. $2.00 counter offer only. One per customer per visit. Riverside roast whole bean bags. Buy two 12 Oz bags for $1.25, save $3. Student discount. 10% off drinks Monday, Thursday before 3 p.m. with valid student ID.
That's interesting. And can you also tell me about the soup of the day and what's the price for that?
Hello, welcome to the Brew Corner. Thank you for using our kiosk. While I search our catalog for your answer, here is a special running in the store. When you buy any 12-ounce hot drink, you can add a butter croissant for $2. You can also ask our staff at the counter about rewards, seasonal drinks, and bakery items. One moment while I find the best answer for you.
It's thinking right now. Check the server as well. Streaming the answer.
Soup of the day is $4.95 Oz and $6.50 16 Oz.
Great. Now check if the info is accurate or if it's just making things up. You can see here for the spring special, there's a maple oat latte for $5, features local maple syrup, and there's a strawberry rhubarb muffin. All the details match what's listed. It's giving you the right info. For the soup of the day, you see a 12-ounce cup for $4.95 and a 16-ounce bowl for $6.50. They usually rotate between basil and other soups, so the answer is correct. Soup of the day is $4.95 for 12 ounces, $6.50 for 16 ounces. So the demo works well. This is what's great about Moorcheh. When you've got the right optimized rack for RAM, you can run things like the TTS STT model with an LLM and run the offline kiosk model just like this.
Alright, let's dive right into the actual demo. First, I'm gonna show the hardware setup and the software that we are running, and we'll move towards the actual demo. Over here, we have connected power to the USB bus, and it goes one main to the Arduino UNO Q, come back with the USB A pin, goes to the sound stereo adapter, goes to the speaker and mic. On the software side, we are running the UI onto the PC, and we have proxy running on UNO Q, the voice server which perform the entire operation including embedding STTTS and AI model with Moorcheh semantics edge. Let's ask the question and see if it is able to answer. Hey, good afternoon.
Hi, welcome to the Brew Corner. What can I help you find today?
Okay, let's ask about the payment method they accept. Hey, tell me more about what all payment method do you guys accept?
Sure, let me find the best answer for you. We accept cash, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Brew Corner gift cards.
Hey, tell me more about the loyalty program if you have any.
Sure, let me find the best answer for you. Yes, we offer the Brew Corner Rewards loyalty program. It allows you to earn points for every dollar spent on drinks, food, and grocery items. Every 50 points can be redeemed for a $5 reward toward future purchases. Birthday rewards are free pastry with any drink purchased during your birthday week. Points expire after 12 months of an activity.
Let's check out if it is the actual chunk of the answer or it's hallucinating. Let's go to the loyalty program. Over here we have Brew Corner reward is free to join via visa. Seems like it has given us the correct answer, and let's move and check out the payment method. Alright, that's the demo.